From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Starrentino. Right now at 7, the federal government ramping up COVID-19 vaccine distribution across the country as more Hoosiers sign up to get protected from the virus. According to the State Department of Health, new COVID cases numbers continue to trend downward, with just under 1,800 reported today. Newly reported COVID-19 deaths were up, however. 80 additional deaths were reported. That pushes Indiana past 9,400 since the pandemic began. Tonight, the White House announced it is purchasing 200 million more doses of the COVID-19 vaccines. Officials expect to deliver enough for 300 million Americans to get both shots this summer. As of today, 106,000 Hoosiers have received both doses of a vaccine. Right now, healthcare and frontline workers plus Hoosiers over 70 can sign up to get vaccinated. The next group to get vaccinated will be Hoosiers age 65 and older, but the State Department of Health has not said when that phase will begin. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker shows you why parents and educators want teachers to be included on the vaccination list as schools continue in-person learning.
The Indiana Coalition for Public Education is joining the state's largest teachers union and asking health officials to make teachers a priority when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines.
That vaccine has not come for us. So I feel like there's a lot of confusion and frustration.
Kristen McMurtry is the chair for the Northwest Indiana Coalition for Public Education. Along with being a teacher, she's a mom of 2 boys who've been impacted by this pandemic.
Both been quarantined in turn because of a close contact at school.
Kristen and Carrie Mixa, chair for Monroe County's Coalition for Public Education, tell me they want our state to listen to the federal government.
The CDC issued guidelines, treat teachers as essential workers, and our organizations believe that Indiana should follow those guidelines, because it will show that the state values what they do and values their safety.
All of the states around Indiana are vaccinating or plan to vaccinate their teachers soon. Kristen lives close to the Illinois state line and knows fellow teachers who live and work there.
Sometimes folks from Illinois sort of look to their friends to the east and wonder what our state's priorities are. And it's hard to give them an answer.
Both of these ladies would love to be able to join other states around us and beyond who are vaccinating teachers against COVID-19.
Ultimately, what we want is that in-person safe experience for every single child who chooses that. And we want to make sure that we are giving our families everything we possibly can to make that environment for them.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
And teachers were prioritized in Indiana's original vaccination plan, but that was changed to focus on people at risk because of their age. The federal government has recommended teachers and grocery store workers be prioritized over those between the ages of 65 and 75. And a new mass COVID-19 vaccination site has opened in Fishers. On Monday, hundreds of people received their first dose of the Moderna vaccine at the facility near East 116th and Brooks School Road. The location is large enough to eventually provide vaccinations to more than 1,000 people a day. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan explains.
Now that this vaccination site in Fishers is up and running, they'll have the capability of vaccinating up to 1,600 people a day here, but that all depends on supply.
Today we're vaccinating. That's what this is all about.
Once a Marsh supermarket, this 48,000 square foot warehouse has been transformed into a quick turnover COVID-19 vaccination site.
It was in pretty bad disrepair, to be honest with you. In under 14 days, they were able to turn it into this.
People receiving the vaccine on opening day impressed with the facility and the service.
It was very well organized. Everybody that I encountered seemed to know what their expectations were and were very helpful.
Linda Van Viersen excited to receive her first dose of the vaccine.
I am. It's just, I want to get through this on to the next year and be able to spend some more time with your family and friends and more activities, and get back to what we all consider a normal life.
Today, about 340 people are expected to receive their vaccines at the site.
We hope to do more as soon as more vaccine is available.
Right now, the state is allocating about 1,000 doses of Moderna a week to this location. But health officials say they're prepared for if and when those amounts increase. The goal is to eventually be inoculating 1,600 people here each day.
We understand that we do not have enough vaccine yet to fill this place up today, but we want to be ready for when that day comes. And the goal is to get those shots in arms as soon as they arrive. So that's what we're now well positioned to do.
In order to receive a vaccine at the site, you must schedule your appointment through the state's website. Right now, priority groups are seniors over 70, first responders, and healthcare workers. I'm Melissa Donovan, WRTV.
Again, vaccines are available through the state to Hoosiers 70 and older. You can sign up by going to ourshot.in.gov or call 211. The Marion County prosecutor says he will seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing an IMPD officer last year. Prosecutor Ryan Mears says he will ask a judge to sentence Elias Dorsey to death if he is convicted of killing Officer Breanne Leath. Leath and 3 other officers were responding to a domestic disturbance call on the east side when shots were fired. Leath later died, and a woman inside an apartment was injured. The prosecutor says he is seeking the death penalty because Officer Leath was killed while acting in the course of her official duty as a police officer. Today marks 10 years since the death of IMPD officer David Moore, who was shot 4 times by a suspect after stopping a stolen vehicle. IMPD released this video today telling Moore's story. Moore received the department's Medal of Honor and Purple Heart after his death. He was also an organ donor. The man who pled guilty to shooting him is spending life in prison without parole as part of his plea bargain. Checking now, Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with our first look at our forecast. Hey, Kevin.
And it's a dry, cold evening. Not too cold, though. Temperatures in the 30s. The clouds will be with us tonight, but we get a chance to dry out, whereas last night at this time we had the freezing rain across central Indiana. There's the radar just confirming that not much happening in central Indiana. Temperature dropped in the last couple of hours, a couple degrees. 32 in Indy, 35 in Sullivan, 1 degree warmer down in Bedford. Temperatures land in the 20s, so you'll wake up to dry conditions. Temperatures mid-20s. Only 29 by noon. Notice what happens in the afternoon. As we get into this 2 to about 6 or 7 time frame, snow becomes more likely, especially for the southern half of the state. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the blue of light snow moving in. The main area of snow with some accumulating snow will be in the southern portion of the state. That's through 7 o'clock. Some updated snowfall potential amounts for you, and we'll look at a second storm system that will be here for the weekend coming up.
A surprise success that was born by accident. Still ahead on WRTV, how one Indianapolis woman turned her head in a different direction to adapt during stay-at-home orders.
WRTV.
Early pandemic frustration with her hair has led one Indianapolis woman down a whole new path. WRTV's Karen Riddle shows you how an entrepreneur's small business was born by accident.
To start the pandemic, I cut out my hair off like most women did. And I'm not a stranger to short hair, as you can see, so it was no big deal, but I found out I had a bald spot.
With plenty of time on her hands, Nikila Majors started experimenting and researching ways to grow her hair back. That's when she first learned about fresh aloe, which changed her life when she started putting it in her hair.
I was really embarrassed about my bald spot, but one day I was just like, oh man, I didn't even realize my hair had grew in. I just wasn't even paying it any attention. And so I was like, oh man, my hair grew in. I think I might share this with Facebook.
After just one post on Facebook, people began asking if Majors would sell her creations, which was never part of the plan.
And I was like, no, I'm not selling it. I'm just showing you guys my results. And one of my friends, Jen, hit my inbox and she was like, are you crazy? She was like, absolutely, you are selling this.
In just a single day, Majors had accidentally started a business now called Miss Nikki's Butters, a line of all-natural hair and body products made for men and women. Less than a year later, Major's products are getting positive reviews, but she says this wasn't her first time stepping into entrepreneurship.
I think I've started like 15 million businesses, and not all are successful.
Majors encourages other people ready to start their own business to take that leap of faith, but not before knowing what they're jumping into.
No blind faith like that. We don't quit your job today with 2 sales. I think a lot of people put it as something really glamorous, like you can just jump right out there with body butter or a candle or something and make it big. And that's not really the way it goes. You really have to do some education behind it.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
An insurance policy on a brighter future coming up. WRTV's Hiring Hoosiers introduces you to an effort to learn and get certified that's only grown during the pandemic.
The colors of a stronger storm system headed our way for the weekend. We'll talk about the timing and the precip coming up.
$1 drain cleaning special.
Hiring Hoosiers is WRTV's commitment to help you find the job or career you need or want, especially since this pandemic has caused unemployment to skyrocket. Tonight we get to know a program that's taking Hoosiers from the campus to a career in the insurance industry.
These pictures show what matters most to Ivy Tech student Jamie G.
I'm a mom, I have children, and I'm married.
Along with her personal life, she's also working toward a career change. And Ivy Tech's insurance program is helping make it possible.
So now that they're getting a little bit older, I'm able to still be involved, but at the same time still have the career, which is wonderful.
G is learning how to work in the insurance industry, and even though classes are virtual right now,
being able to know that I have a career, it isn't just, okay, I'm getting more certification, more experience, more education. I'm able to take those skills and automatically apply it to the new career I'm going to have.
She says other students in the program share a similar sentiment.
Like mine did, where either somebody is not working currently because of COVID, or somebody's not working because they have their own sicknesses or illness, or hey, they just want a career change.
How does it really make a difference in these students' lives?
Going into like insurance, sales, marketing, there's a lot of positions that are available in this industry.
That's Nicole Bradbury. She's the business program chair with Ivy Tech. She says the insurance certificate program has more than 200 students that enrolled in October. She attributes the growth in part to the pandemic.
And even through the pandemic, we offer additional support to those students regarding if they need additional materials, resources, computers, and so forth. We're there for them.
Ann Duncan is an insurance industry liaison for the program.
I think it's great in the community, and it also helps those insurance industries perpetuate their business.
Duncan estimates that in the next 10 years, there will be a 50% turnover in the insurance industry. She brings about 40 years of experience in the business.
Insurance industry is a very stable and quite flexible industry.
That's part of the reason Jamie G wanted to go through the program. It's an opportunity. She encourages others to be bold and try.
You're going to get the support you need. Don't feel intimidated.
Working for you, Megan Shen, WRTV.
Bradbury says graduates from the program can go further with their certificate and use it towards attending a 4-year institution like Indiana State or Butler. The next set of classes starts in March, but you can apply to enroll now. We have a link to that on hiringhoosiers.com. Kevin?
Amanda, there are 2 weather systems headed our way. We won't have to wait long for the first. That arrives tomorrow. The second and stronger storm system will impact the weekend. It's about clouds and temperatures in the 30s right now as you look north from our Weather Now camera. If you look way west, farther than you can see out into portions of Nebraska and Kansas. The snow, it's pushing east of Denver now along Interstate 70. That will become our snow tomorrow afternoon, especially in the southern half of the state. Temperatures fairly uniform, lower 30s to mid 30s. The freezing rain that we had last night well off to the north and east, and is actually now snow in the northeast portion of the country. We'll stay cloudy tonight, temperature down to 25. That's the way we'll start the day tomorrow. Again, the headline would be the afternoon snow developing. Southern half of the state, temperatures will support accumulating snow, should be 1 inch or less. Now let's talk about location and exact timing. During the morning hours, 10 o'clock, not much happening. By 1, starting to move toward Crawfordsville, Indy, and Greensburg. Kind of pivots and stays south of Interstate 70 with the best chance for accumulating snow. As you get from Indy north, should have little impact there. 7 o'clock in the evening, starting to push into southeast Indiana. This is one model showing very light snow for the metro area, but as you get south, closer to 1 inch and maybe a little more than that in spots from Bedford and Seymour south toward the Ohio River. Stay tuned for updates on that. Ready for sunshine? It returns Thursday and Friday. Thursday temperatures right around 30 degrees throughout all of central Indiana. As we go to the weekend, the story of the next weather system, it will have a lot more moisture to work with. Temperatures will be critical, and the exact side of the storm system that we're on will play a role. 7 o'clock as we get to the evening on the Saturday, snow may be changing to rain, and then that plays out into Sunday morning. The exact track will eventually determine how much rain, how much snow we see. Temperatures after the weekend storm system still cold enough for a little snow early Monday. Then by Tuesday, we're back to some sunshine and the temperature at 36 degrees. Certainly no Arctic air in the forecast, but we have 2 different storm systems to think about. Amanda.
This week marks the 2nd National News Literacy Week, where WRTV's parent company, EW Scripps, is partnering with the nonprofit News Literacy Project out of D.C. The goal is to bring awareness that news literacy, spotting misinformation, and verifying facts is an essential life skill. WRTV's Nikki Dementri, with help from the News Literacy Project, is breaking down what news literacy is and why it's so important to you.
We live in the most complicated information landscape in history. And we know that can be confusing. There's so much information coming at us at all times. And so it is critically important to be able to discern what information is real and what information isn't real.
When I say the words news literacy, what all does that mean?
Our tagline is for a future founded on facts. So being news literate is really the ability to be able to discern what's true and what is not true.
Fact versus fiction. With so many ways to consume news in 2021, it can get confusing.
How we look at fake news is it's actually oxymoron, right? Because we understand that news media and standard-based journalism practices means that things are vetted.
Ebony Rice is the vice president of the Educator Network with the News Literacy Project. She says being news literate is an essential life skill.
It just could not be more important than right now. And we have seen the consequences of misinformation and disinformation being spread online.
Throughout the pandemic, news consumption took over hours of our days as we tried to figure out the latest in this changing world. It was also a time, Rice adds, misinformation ran rampant.
We've really spent the last year really just navigating this very complicated ecosystem, and not just of misinformation online, but also reading that and being consumed with it while you're at home.
That's why Rice says it's critical to know where news comes from.
You should really be getting your news from fact-checked, standard-based news stations.
It's also important to know the difference between national, state, and local news. Each player has a different focus sometimes on the very same topic.
The importance of localized press, local newspapers, and local journalists could not be overstated, and that's for a number of reasons. And one of those differences is having people who are in the community tell stories of that community that reflect that community.
The hope this week is to educate and inform. Let our fellow Hoosiers know why news literacy is an essential life skill as well as essential to a successful democracy. So follow along as we continue to share stories throughout this week from our very own home newsrooms. In Indianapolis, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
877, only ATT.
And finally tonight, a big move from IKEA to make sure their products last longer for customers. The Swedish company plans to start selling spare parts for some of its furniture. It will sell items like sofa legs, covers, and armrests. IKEA already offers replacement nuts and bolts at no charge. IKEA also hopes the move makes the company more environmentally friendly.
All right, let's build the forecast now for tomorrow. I'd say the timing, 1 o'clock to about 7 o'clock for the light snow in the southern half of the state, maybe a little earlier start for those of you toward Terre Haute, Bloomfield, Bloomington, less than an inch in most locations. If you're waiting for sunshine, wait no longer. Once we get to Thursday and Friday, should be sunny, dry, but still on the cold side. Amanda?
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Join us again for our next newscast at 11.